So, hello and welcome to Inflectra's webinar on how to transition from manual to automated UI testing with Rapise. My name is Taya and I will be your moderator today. Today's webinar is presented by our own Denis Markovtsev, who is our team lead and a senior software engineer behind Rapise. So you are joining today the webinar that basically talks about UI test automation using Rapise. So let me give you a few description of few features of the tool. Rapise is Inflectra's own tool that is a powerful tool that does software test automation, and it can test desktop, web, mobile apps, as well as APIs. It offers scriptless test automation through what we call Rapise Visual Language. It is an excellent tool if you are testing or validating complex business applications like Microsoft Dynamics or Salesforce, and it provides keyword as well as data-driven testing capabilities and has third-party libraries. This list, of course, is not exhaustive of all the features that Rapise can offers and all the Rapise's capabilities. So if you would like to check out Rapise after the webinar, you can find all the information you need on our website, which is www.inflectra.com/Rapise. Let's have a look at our agenda really quickly over here. Denis kindly agreed to cover the following how-tos: how to create a manual test, how to automate application launch, how to automate login and log out, how to read data from a spreadsheet, and how to make the test fully automated. But he's going to tell us much more than just that. After all of this, we will open the floor up for Q&A. Feel free to ask your questions. It's most likely that we will not be recording the Q&A session, so don't be shy, just ask away. So without further ado, I'm just going to hand it to Denis, and good luck to everyone.
All right, thank you, Taya, for introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Denis, and today I will show how to create a manual test in Rapise, automate some of its steps, and make the test completely automated. So here is the plan in more details. So first I'm going to create a manual test, then automate application launch step, then automate application login and logout, parameterize the test and read input data from an Excel spreadsheet, and finally we will make the test fully automated. So as you know, testers still widely use manual testing, but I don't think that automated test is always better than manual. It is actually not so. It is a matter of math at the end. If you plan to run a test many times and cost of creating and maintaining an automated test is lower than cost of running the test by hand, then go ahead, automate the test. So, and there is also something in the middle, semi-automated or semi-manual tests. It may be hard to automate the whole test, but if it is possible to automate some very routine steps like launching an application, login, logout, application state verification, it may save a lot of testers' time in the future. So, okay, let's start. To do manual testing with Rapise, we first should make sure that it is connected to Spira Test. This is an application lifecycle management tool from Inflectra, and using it you can track releases, requirements, and you can track bugs and tasks, incidents. And what's most important for us is that you can manage your testing efforts, so it can be used as a test management tool. So let's launch Rapise. And first I'm going to make sure that it is connected to Spira Test instance. So to do that, I need to go to Options and Spire Connection Settings. So here I specify the URL of Spire test instance, username, password, so a few other parameters. Let's press check, connection successful. So we are connected to Spire test. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a manual test, and we'll be working with this test further. So I go to File menu, select New Test, and here, since my Rapise is connected to Spire test, I can see the list of projects in Spire test. I select my project, and I am going to create a new test case right from this dialog. So I press New Test Case. Let's name it Library Information System React Book Check. So very soon you will find out why I named the test case this way. So I'm creating the test case. Here it is. And here I have several choices. And if I would want to create just manual test, I would choose this manual only testing. But since I'm going to automate some steps of my test in the future, and since my application is a web-based application, then I will choose Web Cross-Browser Testing Support here. I will use Chrome browser for recording my manual test. And I will be using visual mode in Rapise to work with automated steps. So I created a test. It is now empty. It contains a few files. And now, since I'm going to start from manual test, I need to press manual steps button here on the ribbon. I press it. And Rapise creates an empty manual scenario within my test. Okay, let's open the browser and navigate to the application. So the application is a very simple one. It is implemented using React framework. So it's a library information system. So what you can do with this application, you can log in inside, you can view authors and books, and you can log out from this application. So let's record our manual scenario first. So I go to Manual tab on the ribbon, and here I have a special button, Record Manual. I will press it and Rapise will start recording my actions. So I press it. And now when Rapise is connected to Chrome browser, you can see it is blinking. I can start interacting with my application. So I'm going to login first. So I click on username, enter the username. And you can see that my actions are captured by Rapise in the bottom right corner. Okay, inserting password and then pressing login button. So I logged in. What I can do at this point, I can insert a verification step. For example, I want to check that there is logged in text on my page. So I move my mouse over logged in as librarian string here in the application and press Ctrl+1 keyboard shortcut. Rapise shows me properties of this element on the web page. And here is inner text property that contains the text I want to verify. Clicking OK, and verification statement is added to my recording. Okay, let's go to books and let's verify that the first item in this table it's Hound of Baskerville's book. So I press Ctrl 1 again, set checkbox near the text of the element and click OK. And now logging out of the application. So finishing my recording, and Rapise should generate the manual test. So here it is. Here is my manual test, and you can see the steps with description and with a screenshot what was on the screen when I was interacting with the application. And here we have all the steps we just performed. And when you record manual, you have a choice of either you want to make a screenshot of the whole desktop window, or if you uncheck this whole window checkbox on the ribbon, then Rapise will capture only elements with which you interact during recording. Okay, so I have a manual test, and now I need to save it into Spira. So I press Save button, confirm some prompts here, and Rapise uploads my test and all the screenshots into Spira. So it is done. Now we can go to Spira, refresh our list of test cases. Here is my React book check test case. I am opening it, and if I will scroll it down, I can see the manual steps here. So what happened? My test is now in Spira test, and I have a choice. I can execute the manual test right from Spira. So I can press execute button, and all execution will be guided inside the browser where I logged into Spira, or I can execute my test right from Rapise. So actually, let's do this. So I press execute manual button. And here I prompted with every step that I need to perform. So let's open the browser, navigate to the application. So what I need to do, I need to click on username. So I was able to do it successfully, so I need to press pass button here, and you can see that step 1 passed. Then I need to set text librarian into the username. Done. Alright, then I need to set text librarian in password. Done. What's next? Click on login button. Alright, so now I need to verify that there is logit in as librarian text on screen. It is here, so the step passed. So if anything goes wrong, I always have a few choices. So I can press fail button, and if I want to specify some additional information why something went wrong, here in the actual result pane, I can provide information what was wrong in written form, and even can create a screenshot of some area. Okay, so I just added additional information to the step. Okay, so let's click on books, pass. Okay, so I will not be doing every step in this test, so I can just press pass all. And when you executed the manual test, you have an opportunity to review each step if you want to attach some information to any of the steps, you can always return to this step, add additional information. So once you are ready, you can finish execution, and the result of the execution will be uploaded to Spira. So we can go to Spira, and every test case has test runs print here. Let's refresh it. So here is our test run. I can go inside and see here that all my steps passed. And here on the step 6, you can see that I added additional data screenshot, so I can see it here. Okay, so I have a manual test, and it employs some steps like launching the browser, navigating to correct link, and logging into the system. So these are routine steps, and if I can efficiently automate those steps, they will make execution of my test faster and will require less attention from a tester, and this attention can be paid to more important stuff instead of logging into application. So let's go to my test, and I'm going to add a new test that will a new step that will launch the browser and navigate to the application. So here on the ribbon, I add step, and the step is added to the end of the test, and I want it to be the first step, so I will move it up to the top of my test. So here it is, and what I want to do is to make this test, make this step automatic. So here is where we come to the main purpose of the webinar. So what we need to do here is we need to upgrade our test and add one very small function to the test. So I go to user-defined functions file of my test, and then I go to the knowledge base of Inflectra, and here I have an article about how to insert an RVL step into manual test. So, and this article tells me that I need to go to GitHub repository and copy the function and paste it into my test. So this function performs execution of an RVL spreadsheet and correctly reports status of execution to manual player in Rapise. So you will see how it works very soon. So I go to okay, let's implement our automatic step first. So I go to my RVL spreadsheet. It is now empty. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to implement every step, every automatic step in my test on a separate sheet. And I'm going to rename the first sheet in my RVL. So let's call it launch application. And here I can implement my automated step. We have a global object navigator, and it has an action open, and it takes just one parameter with URL of the application. So let's go to the browser and copy paste the URL here, and we need to edit it a bit. So here is the URL. Okay, here it is. And what I can do, I can just test this step here. So let's close the browser, and here right in RVL I can right click and play selection. So let's see what happens. Rapise opens the browser at the correct URL. Okay, so the step works. So we just need to insert it into our manual test. Alright, so let's go to our manual steps. And every automated step should be prefixed with @sign. And now here I will just use the function that I added to my test. This function is very simple. It just accepts one parameter, launch application, and that's it. If we will be executing the test in Rapise, it will perform automated step for us. But if we will be executing from Spira, then this step still should be performed by a tester. So let's leave a comment what tester should do here. Open the browser, and let's insert here the URL. Okay, it is here. I just need to fix it. Here is my URL. Okay, so I added an automated step. After modifying manual step file, I always need to save the test to Spira to ensure that it contains the latest version of manual steps. Because every time you execute a test, the steps are actually loaded from Spira. So I press save button. Okay. And the latest version of the test should be here already. I don't need this anymore. Let's go to our list of test cases. Book check. If we will scroll down here, then you can see that it now contains the automated step. So how it works? Let me verify just one thing. So here we do not need our real playback statement. Okay, so let's run the test from Rapise. And I'm going to close Chrome browser. So play. And Rapise should automatically open Chrome browser for me and then prompt me to perform manual steps. Okay, browser opened successfully, and now I should see manual steps prompt here. Okay, so it's a session effect. Let's retry again. I just need to close Chrome and launch again. So we use a Chrome plugin to connect to the browser. Okay, so sometimes it may not accept connections. Okay, so Chrome was launched, and now I am at the step 2 of my manual test, and I need to click on username and specify the username. Okay, I'm not going to go till the end of the test, so I'm pressing pass all, finish. Okay, so I just automated launching of the application. So let's automate login operation. So let's go to RVL spreadsheet and create a new sheet here, login. Actually, when I was recording my manual test, all objects were captured by Rapise and added to the object tree. So you can see these objects here. So now I have a choice. I can either implement my step by hand. I can just select the object, username, choose the action, do click here, username, do set text, and specify the text here. Or I can just record the steps again if I do not want to mess with manual editing. So what we can do is, we are on the login page, and I can press record button on the ribbon and start recording session. Let's record entering username and password. So I click on username, entering password, pressing login, and let's verify that logged in as librarian is actually displayed on the screen. Okay, and finish. And Rapise prompts me where to insert these new steps. I want to insert them onto login sheet of my RVL spreadsheet, and let's append it to the end. So here is the part that performs login operation. Let's record logout as well. Logout. And actually I'm going to implement it by hand because it's just clicking on logout button. And what I want to do as well is, when I'm done with the test, let's close the browser. So I'm just entering navigator close action here. What's left is that in my manual steps, I just need to insert the steps here. So I don't need some steps here anymore, so I'm going to remove them. So let's remove setting username, password, clicking login, and verifying that we logged in successfully. And let's remove clicking on logout as well. And I am going to add other steps. So the first step, actually I have here clicking on username, so I can just edit the step here. So I can do auto step here, login. It's case sensitive, I think. And let's leave comment for the tester who may have to execute it from Spira, maybe. So enter username and password and press login button. And let's leave a hint what username and password can be entered here. Okay. And here at the last step, I'm going to do auto logout. Okay, and here I will leave a comment, logout from the application, and close the browser. Okay, and since I added and modified some steps, I need to save my test to Spira again. It is saved to Spira. Let's close the browser, and now I can execute my test again to see what will happen. So I press play. And now Rapise should assist me in 3 steps: launching the browser, performing login operation automatically. So you see Rapise now logs into automatically. And now only on step 3 I need to perform some manual things. So I need to click on books. Okay, and I need to verify that there is a book that we need, Hound of Baskervilles. It is here. Pass. And Rapise clicked on Logout and closed the browser for me. And I just need to finish execution of the test. Okay, so we performed, to some extent, we automated a few steps in our test, and now we can execute it faster and spend less time during every test execution cycle. Alright, so what if we want to enter different usernames and passwords into the system? So since our login step is already automated, then we can parameterize it. So here in RVL, I'm going to insert a few new rows at the beginning. And here I can create a data table right in RVL. So I type map in the flow column here, and I have some table generated. So I just need to give it a name. Let's name it config, delete columns that I don't need, rows that I don't need, and give a names. So let's first column be first name, last name, and let's use a different name here, visitor. Okay, so now I have my data of my automated step in the RVL. So, and in the steps where I do entering username and password, I can now as a parameter type choose this config table, and here the column name for which to grab the value. And here I want to choose config as well, and actually it's not last name, so why I'm using last name here? It should be password, and here it should be username. So it's something from another webinar, I guess. So let's choose username here and password. And if you remember here at the last step of this automated part, we verify the text, and here we verify that we are logged in as librarian. Since we will be using another username, then we need to adjust this step in some way. So here you can see that condition of this assertion statement is a comparison of text that we encounter on the page and text that we want to find there. So let's search for a substring. So here we have output 1 contains param2. So let's check that our label just contains logged in as string. Okay, so now we parameterized the step here, and actually what I can do, I can just test this step standalone. So I can launch my application, play selection. So I don't need to save it to Spira for testing. And here I can, in my RVL, I can just run this sheet as a whole. So I can play this sheet. And Rapise will replay all the steps, so you can see it enters visitor as username and password. Okay, so it worked. So now we have our data right in RVL spreadsheet. But what if we want this data to be in external Excel file? So I go to Files pane to the left, and I'm going to create a new spreadsheet here. Let's leave default name data. Okay, so Rapise creates spreadsheet, and we have a spreadsheet editor embedded, so I can just enter data here, password, and it supports formatting, so I can make column names bold here. And here I will use some other user. Let's let it be admin. And now in RVL, I need to map this spreadsheet. So I specify another type of map here, which is range. Actually, if you don't remember what to type, you can always use drop downs here to see what choices you have. So here we have a range which maps to external Excel spreadsheet. I name this map the same way, so I don't need to update this part of automated step. And what this map does, it attaches to a spreadsheet data xlsx, which is in the working directory of the test, to sheet 1, and here we can see that it reads all the data in the spreadsheet. Okay, so what we can do is to test this step right from here. So we can play this sheet. And now it should enter admin user. Okay, it actually enters admin user here. Alright. So now I can save to Spira. And I have almost all steps of my manual test automated. So let's see how it looks like and execute it one more time. So I press play. Rapise launches the browser. Logs with admin user here and prompts me to click on books and verify that the book is here. It is here, and close the browser. So I just have a couple of steps in manual mode. So what I'm going to do is to make this test completely automatic and get rid of those steps as well. So those steps are clicking on books and verifying the book name. So let's proceed to the screen where I should do those steps. I don't want to do this manually. I will just play login sheet of RVL and it will open the browser for me and will perform login operation. And after that, I'll be able to record missing steps, actually the last automated step of my test. Alright, let's go to RVL add a new sheet here. Let's call it check book. Okay, and I want to record a couple of steps here. Rapise connects to home, blinks it. So I click on books and I want to verify that the book is here. Checking the text, press and finish. Okay, and appending those statements to the sheet. So what I need, the last thing I need to do is just I need to launch all these pieces one after another. So I want to launch application, then do login, then check book, and then do logout. So I go here to the test file. This is the main test file of my test. So here we can see that currently it just executes manual steps. I do not want to do this anymore. And I want to execute my steps here. Actually, I want to create one more sheet here that I will call scenario. And I will call this sheet from entry point function. Here I need to type rvl do clay sheet actually, and the sheet here is scenario, and on this scenario I need to launch all other sheets of my test. So here we have a special object rvl, and we can play other sheets. So the first sheet is launch application, and I can copy actually this a few times and just change parameter value here. I want login, check book, and I want logout. Okay, so now we have fully automated test. So let's execute it. And Rapise should play all the sheets one by one. Login, clicked on books, verified the book, and close the browser. All steps were executed successfully, and here we have a report. So now the last thing is if we want to execute this automated test on regular basis, we need to do something in Spira. So let's go to Spira, and here to execute something we need to define a test set, which is simply a collection of test cases. So I create a new test set. Let's call it Library Information System React. So we have an empty test set, and we need to add some test cases to it. So I set a check against book check. Alright, and here in the overview section I need to specify where I want to execute my test case, my test set. Actually, this is the machine identified by token. I will show where this token should be entered a bit later. And here I can specify the planned date where I need to execute it. I can actually specify a particular date and time, or I can specify some recurrence pattern here. Okay, so before saving the test set, I just need to do a couple of more things. First, I need to save the last version of my test to Spira. Okay, and now after saving it, I can just close Rapise. And here on this machine, I have a special component running. It is called Rapise Launcher. So what it is, it's an application that is installed together with Rapise. It is running in the background, and it is also connected to Spira. And Rapise Launcher performs a query to Spira test on some regular basis, which is configurable. And if Spira has something to execute, then Rapise Launcher will download the test and will execute it and upload all the results back to Spira. So what I'm going to do now is just save my test set. I can minimize it, and here I can wait until this counter goes to 0, or I can just press force pull button here. Okay, Rapise Launcher detected that there is a test set to execute. It downloads the files, and you can see that automated execution is performed. After it is done, all the results will be uploaded to Spira. So we can now go to Spira, test runs of our test set section. I can refresh. And here is our report of test execution. I can go into the report. And here we can see all the steps that were executed automatically and status for each step. Okay, so I showed how you can create an automated test in Rapise, manual test in Rapise, and how you can automate some steps of it, and even how you can make it fully automated.
Thank you, Denis. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day.